I'm in love with the grind. I'm in love with the culture. Do this for the fam. Do this for Kenosha.
You know I got you, Kenosha.
If you got the vision, then come a little closer. Let's get it together. Life aligned with the soldiers. I'm in love with the grind. I'm in love with the culture. Do this for the fam. Do this for Kenosha. Yeah, if you got the vision, then come a little closer.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's get it together. Life aligned with the soldiers. You know I gotta talk to him. Yeah, let's put it together.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back in another very special episode of Line for Line Podcast. I'm your host with the most, Devon Booker. I have a very special guest in the building today. Before I let him introduce himself to the world, I'll let you guys know to just hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and turn those notifications on. And just like that, we'll let my man introduce himself to the world.
Well, I appreciate you having me. My name is Ryan Goralski. I'm the general manager of the Kenosha Kingfish in my free time, I guess. And then I coach basketball for St. Joe's freshman team. Help out with all three levels, though. But all jokes aside, my main job is general manager of the Kenosha Kingfish, and I've been with the Kingfish for 4 years now. Mm-hmm. And I love doing it. I love being a part of the community, and I'm excited to be on with you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So before we get ready to get started, we'll obviously start off with our cliche thing. Just tell the people just a little bit about you, young man, that the average bear does not know about you.
Yeah, I was born in Kenosha, and we moved out as a family when I was like 3 years old, so I don't even remember my first 3 years of Kenosha, but I do remember always loving Kenosha. Mm-hmm. And when I turned 18, Parkside recruited me to run cross country, and I thought, well, man, what a cool thing. And my sister went to Carthage, so
nice.
Ended up coming back to Kenosha, and I haven't left since. So I graduated from Parkside, and it all ties together kind of funny enough. I tried to play basketball there too. I was not good enough. So Coach Regal said, thanks for trying out. I'll keep your information. And as my fifth year at Parkside, which of course I took 5 years, come on, why not, right? Mm-hmm. So he asked me, do you want to coach basketball? And I was like, yeah, that'd be cool. And I thought he meant at Parkside, like help him out. I was like, yeah, I'd absolutely do that. He's like, oh, I got a job for you over at St. Joe's. It's freshman basketball. And I had no clue what St. Joe's was. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yeah, that sounds awesome. And 6 years later, I'm still there as the freshman boys coach, and I love doing it. To me, it's a really big part of the community, and it ties in perfectly with what I do. I'm the general manager of the Kingfish. Half the kids that I coach end up coming working for us in the summer. And, for people in the community to have that part of my life where I'm, teaching kids and coaching kids and having some small impact on their life, I like to think. Mm-hmm. They have a bigger impact on my life for sure, but it ties in perfect with my job. So, and then in the summers, I'm pretty busy with my job. And yeah, it is a full-time job. It's like the most common thing I get is, what do you guys do in the off season? We don't just sit there and hope people show up May 30th. Yeah. We sell tickets and sponsorship and hire people. And we have about 6 people on staff right now. And usually, prior to COVID, we had like 10 people. So it is very demanding, but I try to balance both those things. And Kenosha's home to me now. So I'm really happy to be here and be a part of the community. And I think things like this are awesome, that you're shedding lights on kids in the community and athletes and people. So I'm honored to be a part of it. I don't think of myself as anybody really. I'm just the Kenosha Kingfish, man. If people think of me for the Kingfish, I love that. If they think of me as just the coach at St. Joe's, I like that too. So, but yeah, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Yes, sir. So just tell us a little bit about how the Kingfish saga got started for you.
Yeah. So in 2014. I was like a junior in college, and like many college kids, I was like, man, what am I going to do? And they had a sports management major, and I was like, that sounds like something I want to do because I like sports. That made sense. So I got an internship with the Kingfish. That was their first ever season, actually. And I worked crazy hours for no money. Like, we would work from 9 a.m. to 2 a.m. and in this old stadium. That needed to be painted, repaired, fixed, because it's 102 years old. Wow. Simmons Field has been there forever. So
I didn't even know that.
It's been there. It's been the Kenosha Twins, the Croakers, the Comets. It's been hundreds of teams. It's even been, women's professional leagues.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's got a ton of history. So we had to kind of remodel the whole thing and renovate it, which was fun but exhausting. And for the amount of money I was making, I was like, man, this is unbelievable that people pick to work in sports and not just watch the game. So I left that summer, and I was incredibly blessed with people around me. I love the people I worked with, and I did like the Kingfish. I thought it was awesome. That opening night, we didn't know what to expect. The first ever opening night of the team. Our GM at the time, Jake McGee, who's a pretty important person in Kenosha as well, he's like, guys, just don't worry, people will show up. And, sure as crap, people showed up. 3,000 people showed up that first night. And it's funny, I see the Kingfish hat behind me. I see that hat in the community more than anything. I see that more than the Cubs and Brewers hats. Yeah. People love to rep Kenosha. And that's what I learned that summer is people were really territorial about Kenosha. And at that time, I'd only been at school 3 years, so I didn't really get the Kenosha thing yet. Slowly but surely, I started to figure out Kenosha's a very big city, small town. Yeah. Everybody knows each other. A lot of people are related. All these Italians are related. And, I got the gig with the Kingfish after I actually got out of sports. It's funny. I studied sports management. I worked for the Brewers after the Kingfish for a summer. I did for a summer, and I'm a diehard Brewer fan, so I struggled working for the Brewers because I just wanted to watch the game. Like, I did not want to work. I just wanted to watch the game and be a fan and be, pissed off at the Brewers and yell at Craig Counsell. And when I was working for the team, I couldn't do that. You got to be smart about what you say. And so I struggled with that, and I talked to my advisor, Professor Miller at Parkside, and I was like, I think I'm going to get out of sports. And he's like, really, why? And I explained to him, he's like, I'm a political justice major or something. And he's like, I totally get it. And I didn't even do anything with my degree. So he's like, it's normal for people to get a degree and not do anything with it. So I got into insurance, funny enough, to sell insurance. Yeah, so I'm not that old, I swear. This just happened quick. I'm although the boys I coach would say I'm old. So I sold insurance for like 2 years, and I turned 26 years old, and I was like, man, I got my degree in sports management for a reason. Like, what am I doing? So I ended up going back to the Kingfish. The GM at the time had called me about a job, and I was interested. I sat down with him probably 3 times before I turned it down. I was like, I'm good, actually. Like, I don't want to do that. And then I finally took it. He convinced me somehow, and I am forever indebted to him that he forced me to do this kind of, and I'm back in this industry. And, after 2 years of doing an outside of sales role, I'm the general manager, and we got through COVID, and last year was still kind of weird, especially with everything that happened in Kenosha. It was a tough time to be working for a baseball team, trying to sell live entertainment in the middle of a pandemic. And then on top of that, we have civil unrest where the city's burning to the ground. It was tough to sell baseball tickets. And I felt like inappropriate doing it, almost like calling businesses trying to sell baseball in the middle of a really tough time in Kenosha. But, thankfully for us, the Kingfish played a healing part in the community, I think. And like, you were at the Legends event, so you can speak on this too. But I thought that event downtown, almost a year after everything happened, it was just really cool to have us come together as a community. And like I said, people love to rep Kenosha. And that night, I felt it more than anything, those 2 nights. And so yeah, that's my story. And this summer we're rolling, and it's been kind of nice not to hear about coronavirus, and we're putting that stuff behind us, which is great. And we're going to have a normal summer, I think. Yeah.
So believe this or not, ladies and gentlemen, and for you as well too, that was actually my first time at the Kingfish field or anything Kingfish related at that event. And what's crazy is I went there with BMO. Shout out to Brandon Morris, getting me back there, all exclusive. I'm talking about bring your camera. You got free range to do whatever you want. So I'm sitting there in a locker room chilling with guys like Monte Ball, Raleigh Fingers, and Monte Ball's book is actually right here that he sent to me. Me and him kept close contact after that event. We exchanged numbers, still talk, and everything like that. We've been trying to get him on the show as well too, but just the overall vibe at the Kingfish, it was amazing. Like from the time I walked in, just everyone with smiling faces, the atmosphere, the children were there, and they knew like both sides. They knew the all-star team, they knew the local guys as well too. I was just very impressed being there, being a part of something great.
Yeah, it was great. And yeah, I definitely loved having like Brandon there and stuff, because I owe Brandon a ton of credit too. Yeah. And I appreciate him. But all the people in the community that came out and supported that night kind of was a perfect, we had the Parkside AD there. We had Coach Regal there, which is funny. And then Coach Morris was there. And then we had Raleigh Fingers, Monty Ball, Paul Molitor. And then for me, I grew up mid-2000s Brewers were my heroes. So I got Jeff Jenkins, Bill Hall, Monty Ball. I mean, I remember watching him in
Bill
Wisconsin.
Hall, he signed that softball right behind
he's
you as well, too.
That's a legend to me. Most people don't know who that is, but to me, he was a legend. And to be able to share the same room as those guys and kind of be a part of it was crazy. So yeah, that night was awesome. We're going to try to replicate it this summer, July 16th. So save the date. We got TJS's team, hopefully versus Melvin Gordon's team. So Melvin, if you're watching, we need you, bro.
Yeah.
Come on, come be the captain. Tristan Jass's team versus Melvin Gordon's team. I think would be incredible. For the city of Kenosha, that'd just be the two of our bigger stars. I can't say they're the biggest, but unfortunately, Gavin Lux is pretty busy during the summer. Otherwise, I'd reach out and try to get him. But those are the two guys we're going to try to have headline it, and then we'll fill in with some of the former Brewers and Packers and Bucks and Bears and Cubs, unfortunately, as
Come
you
on,
know.
man. Don't disrespect us like that. You see where you at?
Oh, yeah.
Chicago
We'll get like
day.
a former Bear, maybe like Jay Cutler or something.
Hey, let's go.
We'll try, though. I mean, it is important in Kenosha to have a little bit of Chicago flair and Illinois flair, just because people do root for the Bears and Cubs around here and the White Sox. So we're doing it again. We're going to try to do it again. It won't be at the Harbor this year. I know everybody always asks me that. Are you guys going to do it at the Harbor, the Home Run Derby? And we would love to do that every year. It's just it's hard to do. It's hard to execute. So we're going to keep it at the stadium for the summer, and I think it's going to be another awesome event. In the middle of summer, too. We did it August 27th, if you remember, 28th. That's the end of summer. Like, kids are already back in school.
Yep.
I know Friday night football was happening, like Friday Night Lights, kids were playing. So we just think in the middle of summer, what better way to kind of celebrate the summer than come out and watch a celebrity game again?
Yes, sir. I just hope that I can get in there.
Yeah.
Whether it's recording again or something, I just know I want line for line in the building.
Yeah, you got to
too.
be there. I
Like,
think get a couple interviews. That'd be awesome if you
Yeah.
could come out. I mean, people love that stuff. So, and those guys will talk about themselves for hours.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Get
sir.
some legends.
So as we get ready to close out this amazing episode, just tell us a little bit more about how important it was for you staying close to basketball and taking a position over at St. Joe's.
Yeah, so it's so funny. Like, most people I work with in the community, it's always an in the door somehow saying I coach at St. Joe's, because then they know somebody. They'll go, oh my gosh, do you know Brian McTurnan? And that's usually my way in. Or Brandon's a good one too. I always hear that. But, to be honest, my first year, I didn't know what I was getting into. I was just kind of wide-eyed and innocent. And 6 years later, I'm still doing it. So obviously something's keeping me there. I definitely love the game of basketball. It's presented to me a ton of opportunities in life, and I owe the game. But to be honest, it's the kids. I love these kids, and I love coaching them at that age too. They're just such a unique age. I feel like I remember what it was like to be 14 years old and go through the social issues, and you're going through a little change physically, and you got the pressure of friends and family and girls and all that. So I love coaching them. They're at the best age, and then I get to watch them grow up too, which is awesome. So a kid like Andrew Aaliyah and Caden Lecce, to watch them, Matt Schulte, I know they're going to be mad. I'm going to leave a couple out. Jacob Ashmus, to watch them grow up and to be seniors now and be men. I mean, it's a trip because I don't have kids, and it's like, I remember what it was like to be young, but I do get emotional about it. That's part of getting old, is I start getting emotional about these kids, and I love the kids. That's what I keep coaching for, and I love basketball, don't get me wrong, but I don't envy our head coach at all. That's a tough job, and it's a thankless job. So I stay in my role, and I like doing it. But yeah, and to be honest, it helps with the community aspect of my job too. Is, we want people to come and support the Kingfish. We should give back to the community, and if it is coaching, that's a pretty good gig for me. I'll do that any day. It's and I love coaching. It's a long part of my off season, but I couldn't imagine not doing it. Those kids mean a ton to me. And even the families and the parents and just the support. You see that St. Joe's J on everybody's car in the city. It's
At first, I promise you, once again, until this year, I didn't know what that was. Until this year, until I started getting closer with basketball and seeing, because isn't that newer?
I don't know if the J is new. Yeah, okay. I don't know. It's been there since I've been there. So yeah, I see it on everybody's car. It's like it's just part of the way they do things there. They represent their team, and I feel the same way about the Kingfish. Like I said, people rep our gear in the community more than anything. Like I love that, and we appreciate that. And to me, as the person who works for the Kingfish, I'm not the Kenosha Kingfish. I just take it personal. I run the team, and I'm trying to make this a part of the community. And in any way we can give back and support the community, I think that's important because we've been supported so well. So if there's anything we can do, if you guys know organizations, groups, donations, people that are in need, we would love to help in any way. And that's kind of the whole purpose behind me coaching at St. Joe's and being a part of these things is we want to help out as much as we can. And yeah, coaching at St. Joe's has been an unbelievable blessing. It really has.
Yes, sir. Well, with that being said, young man, we just wrapped up an amazing episode of Line for Line. We appreciate you for having some time for us, sir.
I appreciate you guys having me. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
I can see it all. Billboards in the plex, pool with the mansion, account full of wrecks, podcast preaching, reaching for the stars, coops all foreign every week, a home massage.